In this video, we're going to be going over a javelin thrower's full week of training leading up to a competition. Do you want to take your training to the next level? Download the Jacked Javelin mobile app, where you have access to dozens of free resources that cover topics such as nutrition, arm care, mobility, plyometrics, and most importantly, javelin technique. We also have our free community, which connects thousands of throwers from all around the world to communicate and help each other out. You will also have the option to purchase one of our training programs written directly by me with video demonstrations of each exercise telling you exactly how many sets and reps to do, as well as the option to track your metrics so you can keep track of your progress. See you on the inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend that our meet is on a Saturday and we're gonna have Monday through Friday to prepare. So that Monday is going to be our hardest throwing day because we're the furthest away from the competition. That Monday being 6 days from Saturday, we have the longest time to recover our back, our elbow, our shoulder after the throwing session before we compete. So we are going to work up to about a 7-step or a jog into 7-step, which will allow us to continue to build our technique and work on our technique, but not get too crazy and too intense so that we're taking away from our physicality and getting really sore and beat up leading into the meet week. We want to save those harder throwing sessions for the off season or for those weeks where we don't have a competition at all. After we throw, I love the idea of applying blood flow to the elbow and the shoulder to allow and promote recovery. So what we're gonna do is after we throw on Monday, we are going to hit our upper body lift. That is going to be the most strength and hypertrophy dominant lift we have because, again, like I said, we are the furthest away from Saturday. So if Saturday is our meet, we are trying to feel the freshest on Saturday. So any type of strength work or hypertrophy work, we want to do earlier in the week as much as possible. So that Monday and Tuesday are going to be our most intense days of training because we have the longest time to recover before the competition on Saturday. So when we are looking at our in-season program, if we've been hitting the weight room hard all season, in season, the work is done. Now you just want to maintain your strength. You want to feel fast and explosive and feel really good to compete. And most importantly, you want to feel healthy. That being said, that Monday after you throw, that's our hardest throwing day, but then it's also going to be our hardest upper body lifting day, where we might do some bench press, we might do some bicep curls to promote blood flow to the elbow. We'll probably finish with some isometrics so that we're holding the position for a very long time and really just building up that endurance and promoting that tendon health. That being said, after our throwing and upper body day on Monday, Tuesday, we are going to do a sprint and plyometric day and then go into approach work, where we're just practicing that speed down the runway, getting our carry position nice and easy, and working on getting our knees up, getting down the runway nice and smooth. After we do that, because we potentiated our lower body doing sprints and jumps, and we just finished doing our approach work, we are going to go into a lower body lift. Again, like I said, this being Tuesday now, this is going to be the most muscle breakdown we want to get in our lower half. So what that means is if we're going to do any type of movement like a back squat or a reverse lunge, this is the time to do it because we're still early in the week and we have time to recover before the meet. This is the same structure that I use inside my programs in the Jacked Javelin training app. If you're running one of our strength programs, that'll take care of all your lifting and mobility and plyometric needs Monday through Friday. And then if you're running our velocity program, that will take care of all of your throwing needs Monday through Friday. So what that does is that allows you to have 2 javelin days a week, 1 ball throwing day a week, and 2 approach work days a week inside the velocity program. And our strength programs are 4 or 5 days a week of lifting and mobility. Check out more information in the description down below. Then after you do upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, you did a full throwing day, and then you did an approach work day, you're in a good spot going into Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be a day off of lifting to recover and let the muscles bounce back, but we are going to do some ball throws. So what I like to do is I like to use the underweighted plyo balls from the Jacked Javelin website. We have a 400 and a 600 gram ball that will allow us to use that underweight. So we're still feeling nice and relaxed with the ball, free flowing side to side, but we're not going super heavy and we're doing the volume a little bit higher than normal because what we're doing is we want to just feel really relaxed with the arm and allow blood flow to get into the body. So a lot of times when people are sore, it's because they throw really, really hard and then they shut it down for a week or two, and then they throw really, really hard and then they shut it down for a week or two. But having this ball throwing day, which will be 4 days out of the competition, is actually really helpful to apply blood flow to the area. You can work on some things like your block side or your layback and really hone in your technique without going too crazy and without adding a whole bunch of steps down the runway. The more you stay low intensity with your approach and just work on stand throws in the arm, the easier it is to work on things like your hip shoulder separation, your block side, your arm path, because you're not worried about this full long approach being super intense. So that's a good opportunity for you to work on technique there and tune some things up. Then, like I said, we're gonna be off of lifting that day, but we are going to do some arm care. So what that might look like is we might do some upper body plyometrics, we might do some isometrics, we might do some mobility work, and even a little bit of hypertrophy, keeping it very, very light. You know, one thing that I used to love to do after my Tommy John surgery was I would just do 100 Zotman curls with like 5-pound dumbbells, 10-pound dumbbells, super light, just hold it here, go up, turn, and then down. And that just really does a good job of strengthening the forearms and the bicep. But we're not going crazy, crazy heavy to get sore and tight. We're just going really light and high volume so that we're making sure that we get blood flow to the elbow and promote that healing process. Because the last thing we want to do is just throw an ice pack on the arm and just be like, all right, I hope my arm feels better. No, we want to level up the body and make sure that our body is ready to go, and making sure that we are promoting blood flow and rejuvenating those new cells to get in there and replenish so that the old cells can get out and the new replenished ones can get in. So that's the whole process with blood flow and healing, is that we want the old cells out and the new cells in. Icing will blunt that healing process and keep the old cells stagnant, and then they don't get out and get the new ones in. So make sure you are using red light, you're making sure that you're using mobility and blood flow to promote healing in your elbow and shoulder. So just to recap there, we got Wednesday, ball throwing day, and then arm care and mobility. Now going into Thursday, we are going to do no throwing, but we're just going to do an upper body lift. So the reason why we're doing this upper body lift again here is we did upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday, day off Wednesday. So then we're gonna start again with the upper body on Thursday. So with that being said, Thursday now is going to be that in between where we're gonna be able to get a nice lift in, but we're not really worried about anything on the track. We already threw twice this week. We already did one approach work day this week. And then now leading up to on Friday, we're not gonna throw the day before the meet. So what are we gonna do the day before the meet? We're gonna do approach work. So Thursday is kind of this free day where we just have a lift and that's it. That's where we're gonna do upper body again, but instead of going for like heavy bench and strength and hypertrophy, we're gonna keep it faster and more explosive and go with some upper body plyometrics. We're gonna go with a padded bench press where, you know, your kind of rebounding effect being elastic and explosive. And that's the big thing there, is we want to use the chest to start training it like a slingshot, not going slow and controlled like a bodybuilder or a power lifter. Okay, so that Thursday is going to be a nice high energy, limited range of motion, fast, explosive upper body lift. Then going into Friday, that's pre-meet. So Friday is the last day before the meet. What we want to do is we want to do a nice central nervous system boosting practice session. So what that means is we are going to do some sprints, some jumps, then we're going to do some cleans or snatches depending on which one you prefer. Basically what that means is a lot of times is when you are going into a competition, if you have ever felt tired and flat before, that is because your central nervous system is very drained. A lot of times when we are doing a very heavy training block in the off season, that is very taxing on the central nervous system because we're going hard 5 days a week. But now that we're in season and we're scaling it back a little bit, we're paying more attention to how our body feels. We're paying more attention to recovery. So that's going to allow our central nervous system to be recovered and not be fully taxed. What that means is now is that before the competition, we want to spike our central nervous system. Our central nervous system is essentially what allows us to get excited and fired up. It's really just a performance booster. If you've ever gone out and tried to sprint cold or you try to lift cold without warming up, that's because your central nervous system has not fired up yet. But those dynamic warm-ups, those build-up sprints, those warm-up sets leading up to the big lift, that's what allows you to start feeling nice and loose and then getting to that peak of central nervous system firing at its max. So the day before the competition, we want to basically get a pre-central nervous system spike so that the day of the meet, we are able to go out and have a good performance. We are going to spike it again the day of the meet, obviously, because that's how we're going to throw at max performance. What we want to avoid doing is Friday getting to the peak and then going past our red line so we can't recover the next day. So that's why we're not going to be doing 8 sprints. We're going to be doing probably 2 or 3. We're not going to be a full-blown, 10 max effort jumps. We'll probably do 2 or 3. Same thing with the power clean or the snatch. We are going to work up to like a 65, 70%. We might do 1 or 2 sets there and then leave it, right? Whereas in a normal lift where we're going for max effort, we might do 5 sets at that weight, or we might go beyond 70%. We're gonna go to 85, 90%, right? So we're trying to go fast and explosive and light here with the sprints, with the jumps, with the cleans, to be able to get our central nervous system spiked up, but not go past our red line where we can't recover the next day. So this idea, we should leave this session on Friday feeling really good and really loose and feeling very light and relaxed. And then going into the next day, we should be ready to go. And then we'll be fired up, ready to go on that meet day without even thinking about it because of the prep work we did leading into it. That's how you structure a full week of training. Like I said earlier, if you go on the Jacked Javelin app, you can run one of our strength programs. We have strong and mobile, fast twitch, and Olympic, or you could run velocity program. 2 approach work days, 3 throwing days. One of those days of throwing is a ball throwing day. So you really are able to cover all the bases inside my programs because it'll just guide you in the right direction and tell you exactly what exercises to do and how many of them to do. And it'll teach you how to progressively overload them, going from mobility to plyometrics to lifting to accessory work to isometrics and so on and so forth. Same thing with the throwing. It starts you with reverse throws, then we move into some light ball throws, and then some light drills, and then we eventually ramp up. And so this is a great tool to have in your pocket. You bring it out to the field with you and train while you're at the gym or while you're at practice. And that'll just really let you inside my mind and how I go about training and programming for my athletes. That's Monday through Friday. Good luck on Saturday. Let me know how you guys do in the comments down below. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.